What would you like the power to do? At Bank of America, listening to how people answer this question is how we learn how we can lend, invest, give, and volunteer to ensure the Sacramento region remains vibrant and vital. Bank of America is proud to support public television.
The coronavirus pandemic has dramatically impacted businesses of all kinds and created new challenges for entrepreneurs throughout our region.
I was super panicking, and I know that there's so many people in every single walk of life here in the United States and around the world that had that same question, like, what do we do next?
In this special episode of Yes, We're Open, we'll meet a Sacramento entrepreneur whose Spanish language school was forced to go completely online.
¿Cómo estás, Julie?
Muy bien.
We will also get an update from business owners featured in past episodes.
Financially, I'm like, oh, this is destruction, until we're able to really pivot.
What has been the community's response?
They're the only reason why we're here.
Discover how each of them are adapting to keep their entrepreneurial dreams alive. On Yes, We're Open.
There was one point, it was about 4 weeks into the pandemic. We didn't know if we were going to be able to continue. But my husband said, if Casa dies, it will be a noble death. And for me, I took solace in that. We've done everything we can, and if this doesn't work out, well, we'll just have to figure something else out. And I think we've been extremely fortunate being able to continue to do our mission, which is having a space for people to live and love the language.
Casa de Español is a school for all ages to learn the Spanish language. It's also a place to celebrate the cultures of Latin America and Spain. Prior to the pandemic, they hosted cultural events, summer camps, as well as overseas trips to Spanish-speaking countries.
That was the goal from the beginning with Casa de Español. We wanted to have that place for people who wanted to learn Spanish, as well as people who are native Spanish speakers, to really come together and exchange language as well as cultures. We want to make sure you feel a part of the community and a part of something.
Bienvenidos a todos. We're all very welcome here to Casa de Español.
Not only do you run the business, but you're one of the teachers, right?
Yes, I am one of the teachers. We have at the moment 6 teachers from different backgrounds. We have one teacher from Cuba, another from Colombia, a couple of us are from Mexico, and we have a couple other from various parts of Latin America. So that way students get the opportunity to really have an authentic worldview of what speaking Spanish is. I think that the most surprising thing as a teacher in general is how much you learn from your students. I tell my students every session that really I'm the one learning more from them than they are from me. But I think that it's a calling that is really special to be able to share learning, teaching, being a better person. And the fact that I'm able to do that with my culture and be not only an instructor of the culture, but also a representation of the culture, that's really special to me.
Just briefly, give me a little background on yourself.
I was born originally in Mexico. My mom is from Mexico, my dad is from the United States. When I was about 8-9 months old, we're able to come here to the United States. So I grew up basically in Sacramento, California. I was always between countries. So I really had both languages and also both cultures, because my father, he's not of Latino descent. So he always spoke to me in English, my mom always spoke to me in Spanish. There was a long moment where I didn't really understand that there were 2 languages, but as I got older and I started to see how other people spoke, I realized that I had a wider vocabulary. And so that was my first experience with being multilingual and cultural.
However, Maria stopped speaking Spanish for many years due to an incident that happened to her at a young age.
I was told when I started kindergarten that if I continued to speak Spanish and I continued to be in both cultures, that I would never really learn how to speak English correctly. I was told that I would never be a real American if I continued with both. And it was my principal who had told me this. It was a shock for me to hear someone who I respected so much to say that. Once 6th, 7th grade hit, all of a sudden, I found other people who were of Latino background and they spoke Spanish and I couldn't anymore.
How much did that play a role in what you're doing today?
I think that that's something that's been always in the back of my mind of wanting to make sure that other people don't have that experience, that they're proud of it, because number one, it's not true, right? But the other thing is that it's making children and people suppress something that who they are. It's their identity. And no matter how much you try and suppress it, it's you. That kind of began my quest. And that's really what empowered me later on in life to get my degree in Spanish. And I got my master's in Latin American Studies. So it's kind of been this whole process of really finding my own identity within it.
Maria went on to become a Spanish teacher in the Bay Area. It was during this time she met her husband, who happened to be from Sacramento as well. The two of them decided to return to their hometown to start a new chapter together. It was then when Maria came up with her business idea. She founded Casa de Español in 2011.
You got to be proud of what you've accomplished. How did you make this business dream, a reality?
It's just true grit. You just make it happen somehow. And more than anything, I just learned how to work really hard. My dad was an inspiration, and my mom as well has been a real inspiration of that. My dad was a small business owner, and then my mom, she was a bilingual education teacher. So I ended up now being both.
Maria also attributes much of her success to local business associations, such as the Capital Region's Small Business and Development Center, who provided her with a business mentor.
I think that this is something that's very key and pivotal, and not only that, something that a lot of minority business owners don't know that exists. It gives you a breath, right? That extra breath that you need when someone calls you and says, Maria, I think that your business could do this, or you would be a good candidate for this, or how are you doing today? Are you surviving? I mean, it's such a wonderful community to be in Sacramento and be a small business owner, and I think that that's been huge and key for us.
With the help of these associations, Casa de Español became an integral part of the Sacramento community. What started out as a mere 25 students grew to several hundred students of all ages. And after being in business close to 10 years, 2020 was looking good.
And then all of a sudden, like for everybody, right, it was kind of like a blow. We saw like a drastic drop. We actually lost about 28% of our student enrollment for adults. Then summer hit, and we still weren't able to be in class or in person. And that was a huge hit for us, the loss of our summer camps. You don't know how far or how long it's gonna last. It was really, really difficult, and something difficult to struggle with.
How did you guys pivot?
We were told to go home, I think, on Wednesday, and then that weekend we had to set up a whole program online for students to be able to access. We didn't sleep that weekend or the next probably 3-4 weeks where it was just constant all weekend trying to figure it out. We got everything up online and we started the classes.
Buenas tardes, profesora.
Buenas tardes. ¿Cómo estás, Donna?
So tell me about that challenge of trying to teach a different language remotely now.
Teaching remotely has been very interesting. I think that the biggest thing that's different is the feel of being within a community that you're doing it together. There's a certain energy that you have, and something that I really look for is that feeling of comfort and that we're all going to get to the next level together. And so creating that and building that community online, that was difficult.
Not only are the classes online, but so too are their events.
We've done a cooking class,
So you could also add in different
an
elements.
art class, book reading. People, whether they're stuck at home or when they're not stuck at home, they're searching for that opportunity to be able to enjoy other cultures. So we're excited to be able to offer that because, again, it's a community. A lot of our students have mentioned how much they miss going to Casa. Knowing that gives you the strength to go on, that what you do and what you offer is something that's very personal and important for other people, and it's okay, we're doing it for a reason, keep going, keep going. I think that no one is an island, and having connections to people who really care has gotten me through. And I think that that's kind of what it looked like with a pandemic. Everyone kind of got together, and tried to find those connections. I'm just so proud to be part of a wonderful community that has figured things out as best we can together. That fact motivates me to continue. It makes me feel comfortable and happy and excited for the future. And the support that Casa de Español has received from so many people, we're just so appreciative. In the hard times, I just keep thinking and repeating in my head, sí se puede, Sacramento. Just keep going, we're gonna do it together, and we're just so happy to be a part of you.
"2020 was a tough year for everybody. I've never seen so much divide in a nation. But to have two twin brothers represent pretty much what was in the fold of that, law and fire, public safety, and then, hospitality within a pandemic, and be the role model, be the choice, be the good that brings unity, that's us, the Burgess brothers."
Native Sacramento twin brothers, Jonathan and Matthew Burgess, are the two entrepreneurs who founded the Burgess Brothers business. Early on in their business venture, the brothers created their own brand of hot links, a signature barbecue sauce, and a blend of cornbread waffle mix, which they use for one of their creations, the churwaffle.
So the churwaffle came about. That was basically our proprietary cornbread mix, which was our grandmother's recipe, and I always have it that way right here. It was this mix, and we simply made this into mini waffles. Dusted them with cinnamon and sugar, and there is your churwaffle.
The two of them are constantly cooking up new ideas with their brand.
We're best known in Sacramento for Burgess Brothers Barbecue and Burgers, and that's kind of expanded out of the restaurant to catering, food packaging, small products, distribution of products. Now we find ourselves in the world of concessions.
How are you two doing right now, considering this crazy year we've been through?
Considering the year, considering what we've gone through, we're both doing well. Our families are well. We're healthy, which is the most important. We've suffered like every other small business owner, and someone that lost close loved ones during this pandemic. Everyone's been touched by it. And so for that, our heart goes out to everyone, our communities, our nation, our world that's been affected by this pandemic. And so it's truly a blessing to still be standing. And we would only hope and pray that some of those other companies can come back or be positioned where we are currently.
How was the business going just before, all of us were pretty much blindsided by this pandemic?
And we were in an elevation point, we were moving, right? Going on the up. We had been very successful in Levi Stadium with our Chihuahua chicken concept and bringing our products, our hot links, our barbecue sauce, the cornbread mix, and having that being utilized throughout the stadium. We had gone into Sutter Health Park previously where they had served our hot links, but they wanted to actually expand that concept as well. And then also our product is in theme parks. We're supplying Universal Studios in Hollywood. So we had all these great things, and we were just, like, okay, we're excited about what was going to happen. And then to have COVID hit, it was disheartening, but the bigger part is that we didn't understand and even coming in professional public service, no one really knew, what this thing was and what it could do as far as just crippling not only economy, but also just families.
COVID hit especially close to home for the Burgess family.
I contracted COVID back in December, around the 17th. It hit me pretty hard. I knew, being the profession that I work in, there was a huge possibility that I could get it or bring it home, which something in my family was a thought in their minds every single day, because again, we're still out in the front lines. Even though you take all the precautions, there's some things you just can't control. It was a trying time. It was, and it wasn't taken lightly.
I know, my twin brother, like probably better than I know myself, it hit him hard. To hear him struggle on the phone to have a conversation with me, I was really concerned. And to some people, until you've experienced that personally, you don't really realize what it is. And that's unfortunate. People shouldn't have to have those experiences to say, well, this is real or because it is.
But not even a pandemic can stop these two brothers.
I did not let that keep us back. And so you can do nothing but continue to persevere, continue to hit adversity head on. As long as you're moving, you're doing okay. I like to tell everybody there's 24 hours in a day, right? There's 24 hours. What you do in those 24 hours are instrumental. It's very instrumental to you, your life, your business, and your legacy.
As much as it's overwhelming or could have been overwhelming, I didn't look at it like that. I don't think Matt did either. Because we both have that true passion and love for what we do in our profession. There's also a passion and love for what we're doing and what we've been able to build outside of the job. And so when you're doing something that you're moved passionately about, it doesn't matter. You find a way and you find the depth, right?
One of those passions is helping others. The brothers shifted their focus to addressing the need for masks.
I'm like, Matt, we've got relationships overseas. Our waffle machine's made overseas. There's a demand for PPE. So it was an easy pivot to say, well, here's where the need is. Let's go that direction.
Their philanthropic endeavors did not stop there. They've donated a percentage of their profits to various charities to help those less fortunate. And they're working closely with other local entrepreneurs who are hit hard by the pandemic.
When you see people that are able to come together to make positive change that impacts the lives of others, that's what I get excited about.
There's a saying that, when you give, you receive more. And so by Matthew and I being in a position, whether it be our professions, whether it be the relationships, but by us being in a position to give or help out, we've seen tenfold come back from the community. And so really at the end of the day, it's about the community. So really, when you look at what the Burgess brothers are doing, what we want to be remembered for is that, yes, as we climb that ladder and achieve more, we're bringing other entrepreneurs and small businesses, diverse businesses, right, with us.
If we can get over this pandemic as a company, as a family, we can do anything. And I think we handled this the best we could. Everybody did it. It wasn't just me. We came together as a Chando's community. We embraced this opportunity, this challenge, this craziness, and we've prevailed. Chando's Tacos is a fast casual taco shop here in the Sacramento area that I think has become kind of a staple of the community. We focus on Tijuana style Mexican street food, but primarily tacos and burritos, which are craft favorites.
What started out with a single taco stand has grown into numerous locations throughout the Sacramento and surrounding region. And they were in the midst of expanding even more back in 2020.
We prepped to open up our food prep facility, and most importantly, the Tortilla Factory. This is a major accomplishment for us to actually be able to manufacture our 100% stone ground corn tortillas here out of West Sacramento. Before making my first taco, this factory that I have here in West Sacramento is what I envisioned. It's what I envisioned having. My dad had a tortilla factory in Tijuana, and that's where I discovered the love for food service. So it's near and dear to my heart, and it was something that my dad always dreamt of having. I was just kind of living that dream now. I don't know, man, it's surreal. Sometimes it just slaps me right upside the head and it's like, whoa, hey, look at all the stuff you have going on, man. But then pandemic hit. And so we were, on cloud 9 one day and then, rock bottom the next day. What are we going to do? How are we going to survive? It was probably the scariest time of my life so far. So in the beginning, you didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't know the severity of this up until the world came to a complete halt. Then it was like, okay, this thing is real. And I don't know if we can go back to living life the way we were living before. I mean, I see pictures and videos of us hanging out with a bunch of group of friends, and we're like, whoa, dude, why aren't we wearing masks? Oh, crap, we just hugged that guy, or, whatever. It's like, things are not going to be the same. They won't be the same.
I mean, I just can't imagine as a business owner, just the uncertainty of it all.
I mean, so many emotions go on, right? I mean, we've never been through something like this before. Then it's like, okay, what can we do to protect our business? What can we do to protect our employees? What can we do to protect our guests? This is all I had. This is all we have. And a lot of people depended on this. I mean, we carried a pretty big cross right there, man. There was a lot of stuff that was going on. I think the easiest thing would have been to close down. We had some money saved in the bank. I kept a little bit just to for a rainy day. So I was going to be fine. My family would have been fine. We were able to survive 3 months without getting a paycheck, no problem, right? But what about my employees? What about those people that helped me get to where I am right now? That's what was on my mind, right? What happens to them? And so I wanted to make sure we took care of them. I removed myself completely from the payroll, both my wife and I, completely. We pretty much, in essence, donated that money back to our staff. We struggled. I mean, literally, sales just dipped completely. The ones that we shut down for a while were Chando's Cantinas. If those were the only things that we've had, we would probably be singing a different tune right now.
What happened to your catering side of the business?
Catering is, in essence, non-existent right now. The first, 3-4 months, I mean, we're wondering, I don't know, can we handle this? And then PPP kicked in, but it kicked in right at the time where we were just completely we didn't have any cash, and we were playing with fire. After we made the adjustments, there are certain Chando's Tacos that are doing better during pandemic than we were doing last year. Some of them are down by 2 or 3%. And then some of them are in better positions. So, I mean, if we were to take an average, I think we're doing better right now during pandemic than we were doing in 2019. We adapted, we adjusted, we were innovative on the way that we were offering certain products and tried to be creative. And I think you have to be that way in order to stay on top. We were able to put family packages together during the heart of the pandemic, meats by the pound with rice and beans. And then we started a cooking show with our daughters.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Xiomara and Lali.
We got a bunch of viewers. It was actually kind of cool. We were entertaining people through social media and Facebook Live events at home. You have to stand out. And so that's what we're going to continue to do.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Everybody came together and we killed it. We killed it. I really believe that that's what helped us, kind of get over this. This would have never happened in my wildest dreams. I would never thought that I'd be in this position, in this situation. As we said, pandemic has definitely ruined families and ruined a lot. But in my situation, it has just taught me to appreciate what we have and embrace it. And I'm appreciative of everybody. I am just forever grateful and fortunate. We're surrounded by some really cool people, very much so.
How has the community responded to you guys?
They're the only reason why we're here. Yeah, the community's been awesome, man. Yeah. They've been really good to us. I mean, words can't describe it. Sacramento is us, and we are Sacramento.
What would you like the power to do? At Bank of America, listening to how people answer this question is how we learn how we can lend, invest, give, and volunteer to ensure the Sacramento region remains vibrant and vital. Bank of America is proud to support public television.